Hiya. I've just broken my Lent fast on social media, and I trust that God will understand. I probably should have done it sooner, because just as many of us are struggling right now not to touch our faces, so I struggle on a regular basis not to pick up my phone every time I feel like I deserve a break from whatever I'm doing. Problem is, though, without social media, all I've had for the last few weeks to fill this cultural void is BBC News, Sky News, and The Guardian. And I am positive that at times the regularity with which I have looked to them has gone past the level at which it is remotely helpful. As we face isolation and social distancing, we need more than ever to be connected to each other in ways that don't require physical contact. We need to be connected to our families and our friends and to the wonderful and life-giving things that churches and people of faith are sharing on social media around the world. As the world faces the impact of COVID-19, we need to hear and to speak about the truth and hope that we know and sometimes take for granted in Jesus Christ. As someone who's been crippled by fear in the past, I am so grateful for what I have today in Jesus. When fear rears, as of course it does, I train my mind to immediately go to one of my favourite Bible passages, the one where both Jesus and Peter walk on water. It's found in Matthew chapter 14, verses 22 to 32. And right now, I'm particularly drawn to verses 29 and 30. Peter got out of the boat, walked on the water, and came towards Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid and, beginning to sink, cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately, Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. Before I knew Jesus, fear was my core driver. I had an arsenal of self-help books, many of which encouraged me to look to myself for answers. But that was like looking even deeper into the abyss. And I know from bitter experience that without Jesus, I will keep looking at the wind and the waves, and I will go under. You see, Peter does just fine whilst his eyes are fixed on Jesus. The moment he looks down and around, he becomes afraid. His fear wipes out his faith. Now, this can and does happen to us in a nanosecond. But as with Peter, our God knows that we are afraid. None of what is happening in our world has taken him by surprise. And just as our fear can wipe out our faith, so too can our faith wipe out our fear. Jesus doesn't want us to feel bad for feeling fear, and nor does he want us to remain in fear, for it is immediately that he reaches out to Peter. He doesn't let him flail around in the roaring waves just to prove a point. The moment that we look to Jesus or call upon him, there he is, immediately. So let's stay connected. When we're fearful, let's pick up our phones and our tablets and our laptops and search not for the latest news story, but for things that bring life. We can follow churches and leaders who are speaking truth into our situation. We can read the Bible and share verses of hope with each other. We can pray together on WhatsApp, FaceTime, or Zoom. And as we connect, can we pledge to build each other up, to remind each other of what we have in Jesus? And as we come together and encourage each other to keep our eyes fixed on Jesus, we can't fail to be transformed through this storm. Amen.